Welcome to the Jolly Roger. My name's Chef Brian, and today we're going to be making a Barbacoa Quesadilla, but with a twist. And if you saw the thumbnail, you probably already know the twist. But I have a chuck roast here. Typically, barbacoa is made with the beef cheek, and it's hard to get unless you go to a Mexican grocery store. They might have it, but chuck is a good substitute for this. So what we're gonna do is I have my Instapot here. If you don't have an Instapot, you don't have to have one. If you have a Dutch oven, this works completely the same, except it's gonna take about 4 times longer. It's the same process, except you're gonna be putting it in an oven at about 250 degrees instead of pressure cooking. So we need to oil our beef up, and I'm gonna season very generously because this is a thick cut with salt and pepper. And if you go up high like this, it gets an even spread of your salt. Not like down here, but up here. And then we'll go ahead and do some pepper. And then we're gonna sear this on all sides. And then we can put in the rest of our seasoning, give a pat down. A little bit more oil. This helps make the spices stick in the seasoning. Same thing. And I have saute mode set on our Instapot. We're waiting for the screen to actually come up and say that it's hot, and then we'll add in our beef. But to make this fit, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half. And then we're gonna wait till this comes up to hot. We came up to hot, so I'm gonna add in a little bit of oil to our pan. And then we're going to take our beef, put it down, and you want to hear that sear. That's a good sign. So we're going to give this 1-2 minutes on each side. I wouldn't go 1, I'd go about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. And we'll flip, and then we'll do the other one. And I'll get the rest of the stuff that goes into the pot. It's been a couple of minutes, so we're going to go ahead and flip. And that's what we're looking for. It's a good Maillard reaction. Another couple of minutes, and then I'll sear this one off, and I'll bring you back and show you what we're gonna put in the pot. So, we got our meat seared. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna deglaze with some beef broth. We're just gonna pour a little bit in, and then we're gonna scrape all this fond up at the bottom. All this tough bits, we're gonna scrape that off. And that way we don't get a burn notice, but it gets all that flavor from the bottom, because that is good stuff for our sauce. All right, I'm gonna hit cancel as soon as I find it, right there. And then we're gonna add in the rest of our beef broth. I have 2 cups. All the measurements will be in the description below. And I also have some oregano, some bay leaves, and some cumin. That's gonna go in. We'll give it a good mix. And then I have some lime juice, and we're gonna juice the lime. And then we'll add in our meat back in. And we're gonna pressure cook this on high for 55 minutes, and we're gonna do a natural release with it. And that's gonna get it to where it's fork tender, and it's gonna be nice, very nice. And that was a really juicy lime. So I may do just half. We're gonna use that for some Pico de Gallo anyway. So let's get our meat into the pot. And if you're using a Dutch oven, you want your liquid to be about halfway to 2/3 up on your meat. But since we're using a pressure cooker, that looks perfect. We're gonna grab the lid. And pressure cook 55 minutes on high. With the natural release, that should take about 1.5 hours. And that'll kick on in about 3 seconds. And I'm gonna clean up, and we'll get into making Pico de Gallo. So I got everything done for our Pico de Gallo. I have some onion, some Roma tomatoes. I de-seeded them because you wanna get most of that juice out. I have some cilantro, jalapeno, some lime, salt, and pepper. So we're gonna start with our tomatoes. And then once we're done doing this, I'm gonna wait until our timer goes off on our beef, and then we are going to make our own corn tortillas, which is gonna be really nice. Add in all of our jalapeno, and I'm gonna do about half of our cilantro here, and then we'll give it a mix, taste it, we'll see where our flavors are, add more salt if we need, more pepper, lime juice, salt. I know that looks like a lot, it's kosher salt. So, and pepper. And we'll give it a mix. That's what I love about Pico de Gallo. It's all fresh ingredients. Tastes really good. And it gives that bite, which is gonna go really nice with our quesadilla. All right, we're gonna check for salt. That's really good. And the heat from the jalapeno, it's nice. So we're gonna cover this, put it in our fridge, and then we're gonna do our monthly drawing. Today's the 1st. So I'll bring you back with the jar. It's a new month, and so that means a new dish. And thank you for putting your comments down below. We've been keeping track of them. And let's see, I'm not gonna look, and we're gonna go with this one. What do we have? Crock pot, anything. Sweet. Now, I gotta grab a crock pot, and we gave ours to the kids. Maybe I can borrow it. Anyway, that sounds great. Thank you for your comments. They're all great. And these will be written down below, and we'll go back to them. They're not written down below. They'll be written down on a list, and those will be some of the ideas that we will choose later on down the channel history. So, thank you very much, and we'll see you next month. For the drawing anyway. Time to get into our corn tortillas. What I have is 2 cups of Maseca, which is masa. If you go to the grocery store, I'll put a picture of it right up here, and that's what you're looking for. I took it out of the container and just put it in one of our airtight containers. But I have 2 cups of that, so we're gonna go ahead and take our salt. We're gonna salt that first. And this isn't traditional way of making corn tortillas. I'm adding bacon grease just to add a little bit more flavor. So we're gonna go ahead and whisk that up. Make sure the salt's not all in one spot when we go to hydrate this. And then I'm gonna pretty much use a fork because everything's gonna stick to a whisk. I add in my bacon grease. I have about 1.5 tablespoons, and I think that's gonna give it extra good flavor. I mean, not many people in the world don't like bacon. I do know of one that's in this room, but other than that. And then we're gonna go ahead and add in our water. And it's 1.5 cups of water, but since we have the bacon grease in there, we're probably not going to use the whole 1.5 cups of water. And it's warm water, you want it hot. We're just gonna bring this dough together, and I'll show you what we're looking for here in a second. All right, so I ended up using the whole 1.5 cups of water, but I wanted to make sure that it has enough hydration to where it's gonna stay together, and that's what we're looking for. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put these into equal sized balls and get those ready for our press. And for the press, we have 2 pieces of plastic. We're gonna do about a golf ball size hole, and then I'll put another plastic sheet on top, and then we'll press it down. I'll show you that process, and then get my pan preheated, and then we'll transfer them over. I got 11 balls. I did golf balls. I was supposed to get like 19, but I think I went a little bit big. But we're going to use our press. We'll put it in the middle, put the other plastic over top. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna push down. And this took me a minute to get correct. But we're gonna pull it back up, and then I'm gonna rotate slightly, and then we'll push down a little bit further. And if you're cautious about this, go very slow. And we'll see what that looks like. And there we are. So now we're gonna pull the plastic back like this and keep our tortilla still. And we have our tortilla. I'm gonna turn my pan back on. And we're just gonna lay it down. And we're gonna start looking for steam to pop up. You're gonna start seeing it come out on the sides, and we're gonna give it about a minute, minute and a half, And then we're gonna flip, but it really depends on how hot your pan is. And then over here we have, I did one test one just to make sure. And we gonna put this off to the side, cover it up, and let the steam themselves, and they'll become more pliable. So now I'm just waiting to flip, but we can start seeing steam come up. All right, I'm gonna check it. And we could go longer. We're looking for a little bit of char marks. So I'm gonna leave it on this side for just 45 seconds or so, and then we'll flip. And we can flip it as many times as you want, but we're just gonna dry out the moisture. I'm gonna check. That's what we're looking for. These little tan lines right around, like that. So we're gonna want those on the other side as well. And it should just take a couple of seconds. Go ahead and get our towel ready, check, and we're good. So I'm gonna put that down. Make sure you cover it, and then I'll get the rest of them done. Our pressure's dropped, our pin's down, so we can take off our lid. And that is our barbacoa. Ooh, it smells amazing. But I wanted to show you how tender this meat is. It just pulls apart without even a fork, tongs, nothing. So we're gonna get this out. I'm gonna shred it. We're gonna put it in a bowl, and we're gonna finish these quesadillas. I am gonna make a sauce that we made the last time I made a quesadilla. I'm gonna take some guacamole that we saved. We vacuum sealed it and put it in our freezer. And it's good for a few months. And I'm gonna add some sour cream to that. And then we'll get to making our quesadillas. We got everything done. The sauce, it's just sour cream, guacamole. I'll put a link, if you haven't seen that video, I'll put it up there. We got our pico. I have two different types of cheeses. First one is a Munster, but it's also a Munster Enchilado. And then I have a Queso Asadero, if y'all want to get those actual cheeses. But we're gonna do a mix of cheeses today. And then we have our meat. And I took a little bit of the jus from the pot and put it in there so the meat didn't dry out. Also, I did thicken it up with a little bit of cornstarch. We're gonna dip our quesadilla in it, and then we have a sauce to go with it. So we got two sauces. But first, I'm gonna take our cheese. I'm gonna take a mixture of both. We're gonna put it down on the pan. We're gonna melt this, and then I'm gonna take a quesadilla, put it down, and then build my quesadilla from there. Or I said quesadilla. Our tortilla. So we're just gonna take a little bit of cheese, put it in the pan, and we want both cheeses, because these go really well together. And when this starts to melt, then I'll take our tortilla, put it down, and we will form our quesadilla. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take my quesadilla down, give it a little squish. Then we'll start with our meat. And these corn tortillas, they're a little small, but I mean, that's about as big of a press as you're gonna get unless you go pretty big. Take a little bit of our Pico de Gallo, and then we're gonna layer in a little bit more cheese so everything sticks. And then we'll top it with our other corn tortilla. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, I don't have to refilm this. I was gonna say this one kind of messed up, but nope, this one is nice. So we're gonna give a little toast on another side. I'm gonna use a little less cheese next time, but this is looking amazing. Little toast. Oh, it's pretty. I think this is gonna be an absolute winner. I'm leaving that in the video. All right, we gave it a toast. Kill the heat. We're gonna take it off, put it on the cutting board, and I'm so excited. I'm gonna wait. We'll do those in a minute, and I'm gonna get that plated. We're gonna do a taste test. So let me get these folded back up. We'll see you in a second. Look at this thing. All right, there you have it. I'm just so excited about trying this. We'll make the rest of them in a minute. But yeah, sorry I didn't show the plating. I just got in my head. This is an idea I had day before yesterday. And so for Cinco de Mayo, but I'm gonna squirt a little lime juice. And then we have our guacamole. So go ahead. Get a little guac. Trying. Sorry, I had to take 2 bites. Anyway, I hope you give this a try. Hope you like it. Comment, share, subscribe, and leave a comment down below for the next month's drawing. And we look forward to doing a crock pot meal. And yeah.
Hey, Austin, if you're watching this, we need the crock pot back.
Oh yeah, by the way, we need to borrow that. Thank you all very much. Peace.